When my mom passed away, it felt like part of me was ripped out. She was the center of our home, the glue that held everything together. After she was gone, the silence that filled the house was unbearable, thick and suffocating. My dad, once the strong and dependable man I had always known, seemed to collapse overnight. His smile disappeared, conversations dwindled, and he became a shadow of who he once was. At first, I thought it was just grief, something time would heal, but weeks turned into months, and things only got worse. He would sit for hours at the window, staring at nothing, barely touching his meals, and his health declined before my eyes. I couldn't stand by and watch him fall apart, so I took on the role my mom had left behind. I cooked his favorite meals, kept the house in order, and stayed by his side in the quiet evenings, believing I was helping us both heal. But things began to change, subtly at first. He started asking me to stay longer, holding my hand more often. I told myself it was just his way of seeking comfort. Then one evening, I walked in on him watching old home videos, and for a moment, he smiled at my mother's laughter. But when he looked at me, something shifted. "You look just like her," he said, his voice low and unsettling. I forced a smile, replying, "She was my mother. Of course I do." But the way he looked at me didn't feel right. As time went on, he became increasingly dependent on me. He'd call out even if I was just in the next room. When I mentioned leaving the house, he grew distressed. I tried to convince myself it was just part of grieving, but deep down, I knew something was off. He began complimenting me in a way that felt wrong. "You're so much like her," he'd say, but his tone felt more than admiring, it was too intimate. He wanted me around constantly, and any time I talked about seeing friends, his mood would shift. "Why do you need anyone else?" he'd ask, his voice soft but with an edge. It wasn't until our family friend Ethan came by that I truly admitted something wasn't right. He pulled me aside and asked if I was okay. I tried to brush it off, but he didn't believe me. "Your dad looks at you differently," he said. That sent a chill through me. I couldn't deny it anymore. My dad's behavior became more controlling, asking where I was going, who I was with, why I was spending time with Ethan. What once seemed protective now felt jealous. One night he even told me, "I don't like how close you are with him." I laughed nervously, but his response, "Friends can become something else," left me deeply unsettled. The breaking point came one night when I overheard him talking to himself. I assumed he was speaking to my mother's memory again. But then he said my name. "You're still here. You came back to me." I froze. This wasn't grief. It was something darker. After that, I couldn't ignore the growing unease. I wasn't just supporting him, I was becoming someone I was never meant to be. One evening, as I cleared the dishes, he touched my hand and said, "You take such good care of me." Just like she did. I pulled away gently, trying to keep calm. "You should rest, Dad." But then he added, "You don't have to call me that if you don't want to." My heart dropped. "You remind me so much of her," he said. "Sometimes, I forget." I couldn't take it anymore. "I think I need to stay with a friend," I told him. His face changed instantly. "You're leaving me?" he asked, voice breaking. "I just need space," I said. But he stood and snapped. "You don't need space, you need to understand. We're all we have left." At that moment, my phone buzzed. "Ethan, are you okay?" I didn't think. I ran to the door. "Where are you going?" Dad yelled behind me. I didn't stop. I threw open the door, and there was Ethan, concern all over his face. Before I could say anything, Dad appeared behind me. "This doesn't concern you," he growled. Ethan didn't flinch. He just held out his hand. "Come with me." I looked at both of them. One man now filled me with fear. The other offered safety. I took Ethan's hand and walked into the night. Dad didn't stop me. He just watched as I walked away from the house that had stopped feeling like home. Ethan drove in silence, giving me room to breathe. After a while, he asked gently, "Do you want to talk?" Tears blurred my vision. "I don't even know where to begin." "You don't have to," he said softly. "Just know you're not alone." And those words broke something in me. Had been trying so hard to hold everything together, to fix things, but I had lost myself in the process. Ethan took me to his sister's place, a familiar home that now felt like a refuge. I barely spoke for days. My phone buzzed constantly with messages from Dad, some full of apologies, others of anger. I ignored them all. One night on the porch, Ethan said, "You didn't deserve that, you deserve to be free." I whispered, "I thought I was helping." "Helping doesn't mean losing who you are," he replied. Over time, I found a job, my own place, and slowly, the weight I carried began to lift. My dad reached out a few more times, but I knew I couldn't go back. Some boundaries, once crossed, can't be undone. Through it all, Ethan stayed. What began as friendship quietly grew into something more, something kind, something safe. One day, as we walked by the ocean, he took my hand and smiled. You're free now, aren't you? I nodded, feeling the breeze on my face. The weight was gone. Yeah, I whispered. I finally am.